Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you the second part of my screencast on behavior management and social skills. Today I'm going to be talking about a lesson over the book Buzzy the Bumblebee, and this lesson is geared towards second grade. The skills being taught in my lesson today are from the character count standards from the social and emotional column. The first one is 1.1, which is emotions and their impact. The second skill is 1.3, which is values, beliefs, attitudes, and mindsets. And the final skill being taught is 4.5, which is self-confidence. There are three parts of the three-tier triangle that incorporate functional behavior assessment. The first tier focuses on school-wide and/or class-wide large group instruction. In this tier, classroom expectations and routines are taught. The second tier is more traditional. This tier includes small group social skills instruction. And the final tier focuses on systematic, individualized behavior training. I think the lesson that I'm going to show you today fits best with Tier 2. This can affect others because if people don't have self-confidence, they could be afraid to try new things and be afraid to follow their dreams. Also, people who lack self-confidence could have a negative impact on others and affect the confidence they have in themselves. To begin the lesson, I'm going to start out by asking the students, has there ever been a time where you wanted to try something but you were afraid to try it because you felt like you just couldn't do it? After the lesson, I want students to understand that they are capable of accomplishing anything if they put their mind to it. In this lesson, I'm going to teach the students what self-confidence is. It is when you have confidence in yourself or if you believe in yourself. I'm going to ask my students if they have ever felt confident, and if they have, how it made them feel. Now, I'm going to read you the book Buzzy the Bumblebee. Hello everyone, today I'm going to read Buzzy the Bumblebee by Denise Brennan Nelson and illustrated by Michael Glenn Monroe. One sunny day in a beautiful garden there sat a bumblebee named Buzzy. His stripes were black and yellow and his coat was rather fuzzy. Buzzy liked to fly like all bumblebees. He danced with the flowers and swayed with the breeze. He also liked to read and thought himself worldly and wise. So Buzzy was startled when he read, "Bumblebees weren't made to fly." He read it over and over. Bumblebees weren't made to fly, according to studies and research, and it went on to explain why. Their wingspan is wrong and their bodies are too big. Buzzy was confused. He thought, I'm not a pig. Buzzy couldn't believe what he read and kept thinking, can these facts be true? I've been flying all this time and I shouldn't have been able to? He tried to make his wings work by pumping with all of his might, but the words he had read were stuck in his head, and now something just wasn't right. Buzzy was stranded on top of a flower, longing to fly away. His heart still knew how, but his head had forgotten the way. Buzzy was scared. How will I get down now that I can't fly anymore? I'll have to climb down, he decided, something he'd never done before. With book in tow and little heart pounding, Buzzy tentatively took the first step. Then very, very slowly, down the flower he crept. Buzzy's foot started to slip, and he felt himself letting go. Oh no! Thank goodness for a leaf. It helped cushion the blow. Dazed, Buzzy slowly sat up, thinking, what should I do now? My home is so far away. I've got to get there somehow. Two dragonflies saw Buzzy walking, and they asked, what's wrong with you? Buzzy sadly told them, my flying days are through. They didn't understand his problem because their wings worked just fine. "Would you walk with me?" Buzzy asked. "No, thank you," they declined. Feeling very envious and even a little mad, Buzzy had a funny feeling inside. He wanted what they had. Heavy-hearted, he trudged on, anxious to get home. Buzzy needed his family. He felt so all alone. Just then, Buzzy saw a stream and cried out in frustration, "Now that I can't fly anymore, will I ever reach my destination?" "Every problem has a solution," his mother always said. Buzzy had to find an answer. He'd have to use his head. At that very moment, a flower petal drifted by. It gently floated to the river's edge as Buzzy let out a sigh. Buzzy had an idea. "I need something that will float." Looking at the petal in the water, he thought, "That could be my boat." He picked up a blue jay's feather and cautiously pushed himself out. When Buzzy realized the petal would work, he gave a joyful shout. As he safely reached the other side, Buzzy was filled with relief until he saw the tall, tall grass and was suddenly overcome with grief. Sadly, he remembered the days when above the grass he would soar. Once again, he thought, "What will I do now that I can't fly anymore?" Peering through the thick green grass, Buzzy thought, "This just isn't fair." About to give up, he heard a voice say, "Don't stop, you're almost there." He looked up to see where it came from, but his eyes met only the sun. Mustering all the energy he had left, Buzzy began to run. Buzzy burst through the door with a tear in his eye. "Mom and Dad, why didn't you tell me bumblebees weren't made to fly?" "Why, Buzzy," they said, "you certainly can fly. Until now, that is. And do you know why? You're doubting yourself. Fear is blocking the way. Listen to your heart, Buzzy, not what others say. Ignore labels and limits, they seldom do good. They make you think you can't when inside you know you could." Buzzy thought about what they had said and knew his parents were right. It's belief in ourselves that helps us take flight. Quickly, Buzzy ran out the door and looked up at the sky. Bursting with confidence and desire, Buzzy shouted, "I want to fly!" Buzzy's wings fluttered and his spirit began to soar. Buzzy knew he would be all right. He would fly once more. And sure enough, Buzzy flew, and do you know why? By believing that he could, Buzzy was able to fly. After reading the story, I would take a few minutes with my students and answer these questions. The first question is, what did How to Fly tell Buzzy while he was reading it? The second question is, how did Buzzy feel when he read that bumblebees weren't made to fly? And the third question is, how was Buzzy able to fly again? Once we answered the questions and talked about the worksheet, I would ask my students, what can you do when something is hard for you and you feel like giving up? As a class, we would talk about how important it is to believe in ourselves and never give up on something. We would also talk about how anything is possible if you believe in yourself. At the end of the lesson, the students will go back to their seats and draw me a picture of themselves doing something that they really want to achieve. After their pictures are colored, we will hang them up on a bulletin board that is titled, "We Can Do Anything." At the end of the lesson, I want my students to understand the importance of self-confidence. I want them to realize that they are capable of doing anything if they believe in themselves.